So I've been fairly involved in the hosting industry through the years. I've worked for a handful of different web hosting companies, and I've been a customer to a handful of different hosting companies. So I feel like I can offer some good insight as far as just general uh, kind of feel for a web hosting company, just kind of how good their support is, how good their services are. Um, and, no one likes to pay too much money, especially when you're used to getting hosting for free for working for hosting companies. So when I wasn't working for hosting companies, this was one of the companies that I used to have hosting through. As you can see, they go by insightHosting.us. I forget what the actual company name is. Everything seems to be under this Insight main brand, but they also have this other domain, hostwebspaces.com. This was the one that I originally actually signed up under when I was looking through their customer reviews and stuff. But as you can see, even the hostwebspaces.com just shows I don't actually think it's the same website, but it still shows the Insight logo and signs you up for the same service. Their back end is all on the insighthosting.us. So everything, see, it already recognizes me on this site. It just says hello Dale. But over here, it just has this client area link. So there's slightly different websites, but same company. And overall, I think this is one of the best value for money hosts that I've used. As you can see, I've canceled my account, so I'm not a customer anymore. I let that lapse back this last November. So you might be thinking, well, if they're such a great deal, then why aren't you a customer? And it's because they're definitely a budget host. If you're somewhere over in Asia or Africa or South America or just really anywhere where the exchange rates aren't great, this would probably be a really good host for you to look into. Because I really think it really stretches the value of your dollar, but that at this level, that really only matters if you're in a country that has a bad exchange rate. If you're in a country that has a bad exchange rate, look into this company for sure. The reason that I am no longer a company or a customer of theirs is because just the performance from the hosting wasn't the best. They were always doing maintenance to improve the network, which is good, but I'm a little bit more of an advanced user, so I would always use my own DNS, and then they weren't always great about communicating when they were switching IP addresses, and then I would have downtime. Then I'd be like, why are my sites down? And then I would go, trying to be like, oh, I'm going to have to reach out to their support. And then I would dig through emails to find out that the stuff had been changed, and they had notified me in an email that I had missed, but it just was poorly communicated, or sometimes they didn't send me out emails, and then I'd have to reach out to support and wait. And support isn't what I would call fast, but they do have support. So if you put in a support ticket, you are going to get a response, which is better than some hosting companies, sad to say. This company definitely responds back, typically within a day. I think I've had some tickets go a little bit long, but usually it's within 12 hours. I would say 12 hours to 24 hours I typically get a response, which isn't great, but is pretty good, especially for budget hosts. Again, budget hosts, sometimes you just never get a response, or it's several days until you get a response. And there was definitely some times with my few support tickets that I had to wait quite a while, but I appreciated the fact that I got a response, and the responses I got were actual responses. I've worked in hosting support, so a lot of times when I was reaching out to support, it wasn't hey, why is this broken? It was hey, I don't have permissions to do this. Can you go change this configuration on the back end for me? Or just hey, is this something that's allowed, within your terms of service? I'm trying to do something this way. Is that okay? And they were always pretty good. But just I had downtime when they would migrate servers. They just weren't really great about communicating. They did have occasional downtime, but with budget hosts, that's gonna happen. And I just had some more slightly higher end applications, and I got this price on a Black Friday deal. So you might be able to snag this. This was for 2 years. which is why I was using them originally, which is why I say they were definitely like one of the best like dollar stretch like value for money. I got 2 years of hosting with like a high-end reseller account for $50 a year, which is pretty crazy. Like that included like the SSL certificates, everything. So it had the cPanel, like the whole 9 yards. I was actually pretty impressed with the pricing. But I just got to the point where I wanted a little bit more quality of a web host versus like trying to stretch my dollar. So I went ahead and moved somewhere else. But if you're, just have like a hobbyist site or like a nonprofit, would probably be really good for this. Like anything that's like not mission critical, I would say, yeah, totally. If you just are trying to get web hosting as dirt cheap as possible, this is not a horrible option. Like, they definitely are cheaper than the other budget hosts I've seen out there. There's cheaper hosts still for sure, but then you're definitely getting into like the extra sketchy territory. So, this is what I would say is like ground floor for. I don't even quite want to call them quality hosting, but like you're gonna get what you pay for, which is like it's way better than getting ripped off. So they have support. What they say they give you is what you actually get from my experience. The servers aren't the fastest, but they're definitely not like you get light speed. So that's another reason that I went with them, because like they're really stretching the dollar value, but you're not getting horrible performance either. I haven't done side by side speed test comparisons. I'm not trying to make my channel all about host comparisons. Unless that's what people really want. Oh, I really hope that doesn't become my life. But yeah, this is about all I got. I'm going to do a few more web hosting reviews. But like I said, I'm not doing side-by-side speed comparisons or doing anything super in-depth. It's just kind of like my general feel from having kind of worked with the company. The biggest thing for me is just how fast does your support respond. I've got another hosting company I put in a support ticket a day and a half ago, and it's still open. I mean, it was the weekend, so maybe their support just isn't there on weekends. It's Monday afternoon now, so I still haven't gotten a response, but we'll see what happens. Keep watching my channel for more SaaS software reviews. This is how I got into software as a service, was doing hosting support for all these different software companies when their stuff would break on our hosting platforms. So yeah, I've got some insight to give, and keep watching if you want to see some more of it.